Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday, March 26th edition of the Supplement Industry Insider. Welcome to everybody on YouTube. And we're going to be talking about some fun stuff tonight. But first, Javi, what are you doing there? What are you doing there, buddy?
What's going on? You know, I want to make sure I say this. So we haven't been podcasting as often as we were, right? You agree with that one, right?
I agree, but for good reason.
I want to tell you, buddy, I miss you. I really do miss you. I'm heartbroken that we don't talk as much. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm heartbroken as well. I mean, we used to come. At one point it was four times a.
We used to what? We used to what? Say that again.
We used to come at least. We used to come. All right. Digression.
We used to be on air.
We used to be on air at least 4 times a week. But, you know, this is episode 34. The brainchild of this, obviously, was conceived. I'm going to try not to fucking say the word obviously so much tonight, because I've learned that is like when my brain farts and it tries to search for a word, it goes to obviously.
Is that your safe word? Is that your safe word?
It is my safe word. So, Maria, if you're listening,
sorry.
Obviously is no longer our safe word. We have to change it to something. I'm going to have to take the swing down. Anyway. So we talked earlier today. You had a fun day on the golf course, correct?
Yeah,
with our good friend
Richie Pubvesker. So I mean, listen, we created this podcast and show to have some fun, right? And it's all about fun. And after the last couple of weeks of a little bit of stress, high blood pressure, I decided that I needed a little bit of time off, and I didn't took time off during the week. I do jobs like everybody else. But today I wanted to play some golf. So I went out with our buddy, Richie Pubvesker. He was here on 01A and 01A.5. Mr. Richie Pubvesker, owner of Seaside Deli in the past. So I took Richie out. A big shout out to him. He's live right now with us. I know you are, Richie. I know you're watching. And it's pretty cool because, Richie's not a golfer, but I am. And I decided to take him golfing, and we played 9 holes. We just stopped at 9, just because, to be honest with you, I shot a 40, and I said, "Fuck this! I'm gonna stop at there. That's it. I'm gonna shoot a 40, and I'm good." But with that being said, man, by the way, you look amazing. Far East Bodybuilding 2016. What is this? Pro subs, camel hat right there. Yes.
Shout out to the Marine Corps. So MCCS. Okinawa. I was going to be a guest poser for 2017. I talked to Rich Gaspari. If you guys look at my shoes, and wait, I got a cramp in my head. They have
That's a nice outfit. That's a nice outfit.
Well, thank you. So representing Japan on one side and the United States on the other. So my friends at MCCS Okinawa and Navy and Air Force that have listened to the show so far, which has been actually a lot, have enjoyed everything we're bringing. So want to give a brief shout out to them. If you guys are in Okinawa, Japan, well, if you're from Okinawa, you're from Okinawa. They don't want to be from Japan. So you're an Okinawan. I understand that. Boku no name wa Nick to mushimasu.
Say.
That's Chinese.
I know, same thing. They understand. Say. Look at you.
That's like all brown people are the same thing. You're from the Dominican, right? Slap ass? Do you know the slap ass?
Do you want Nick? I love you, but F you. F you.
So Dax may listen to that. So big shout out to Slap Ass because ever since I was a little boy, all I want to do is catch fly ball and play Slap Ass.
Yeah.
But I mean, shout out to the Marines. August 6th, if you guys are out there, we're trying to get a guest bodybuilder. But everybody that we know is going to be getting ready for Mr. Olympia. So Mr. Rich Gaspari, if you listen to this episode tonight, yes, we need you. But more importantly, we have a guest tonight, Javi.
So first of all, we want to make sure that we say a couple of things. First of all, Nick, thank you so much for putting this together as always. So you're smoking a nice cigar. I'm smoking right here, and I want everybody to know there's no cigarettes. This is a very nice Cohiba cigarrillos that I'm smoking with a. The reason I'm doing that is because I had a lot of cigars in this past weekend. And you asked me before, I had a great weekend, man. I have to say that before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to touch on something very important.
How was your, go ahead. How was your weekend?
So it was amazing, and this is the reason why I tend to cater to a lot of people, as you said in the past, right? And, that's cool.
Except yourself sometimes.
Exactly. And I decided that this weekend I was going to take care of myself more. This is the reason why. My firstborn boy, Caden, is turning 5 next week. And it hit me. It actually hit me, and I broke down in bed by myself 2 nights ago that the one person that I want to be around for the most is my boy, right? And I have 2 of them, but this one is very important to me because he was my first one. And it hit me that I'm watching him go to sleep at night, and I don't spend enough time. And it was so important to me to have something fun prep for him. So I took Friday off, like I told you, went to the water park. We had some nice lunch together. And then yesterday I took the little one and Caden out to the green market. And we had a good 4 hours together. And, it's been the most relaxing weekend I've had in a while because I realized what life is about. I realized what's important. And to me, being around my kids is very important. Being around my wife, of course, is important. But I realized that my life is getting shorter and shorter as we go. And we talk about that on the show all the time. Like we're getting older and older. So the older that we get, of course, life just gets shorter. And to me, it was a very big opportunity to literally show my kid that daddy's here and here's your brother, here's your dog. And we had a great time, man. And today was the day that I'm not going to lie, I became very selfish for the first time in my life. I didn't care about anything. I woke up at 7, went to the gym and did my Murph workout. And I went there at 7:30, finished about 8:20. And then I asked Richie, let's go golf. We went golfing. I finished, went home, shower, and went over to watch some March Madness. And I met with our friend Andino. And then I came here to my parents' house to do a podcast. So a lot of people can call me bad father, bad husband, whatever it is. And my answer to you guys is F you. I worked my butt off. I deserve a day for me. And that's what I did today, bro. I really dedicated the day to me today. And I talked to my mom, talked to my dad on the phone. They're coming this weekend. Everybody's excited. Everybody's happy. So honestly, bro, it's been a great time, man. I haven't been this relaxed since 2010, probably, when I got out of the hospital. This is the first time that I've been so excited. So with that being said, brother, tell me, what about you before we introduce? I cannot wait till we introduce this guest. It's going to be the absolute best podcast.
This is going to be our best podcast. But, for me, yesterday I had a fun day with the kids and then a surprise get-together with some of the neighbors for margaritas, even though I don't drink tequila. So I had to just figure out something else to do. Went to bed and then woke up, watched the kids for a little bit this morning as Mama Bear went running with one of her friends. She got home. A had swim class, and I finish the rest of the yard work. And while I was waiting for them to get home, I decided to wash my truck. And I know as exciting as that sounds to a lot of people, but there was a little bit of me time in there, and I'm not going to shy away from it, brother, because.
Well, hold on. I called you, so I did something I never done before. I FaceTime you while I was golfing, and here's what Nick. You guys are on YouTube Live right now, so this is what Mr. Lacaria looked like. Hey, what's up, Bobby? I'm like, whoa, hold on. Why do you look so relaxed? But you know what, bro? That, honestly, Nick, I'm not going to lie to you. That made my day. I think that we touch on this every episode, right? It's all about our friends and family, right? As long as you're happy and you're having a good time, man, it's awesome. So when I saw you that literally, Rich is my witness. When I saw you like that, I eagled the next hole. Just for you, just so you know. I eagled the next hole just like it was nothing. Just because.
There you go, my brother.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was good. So with that being said, let's do a double intro on this. So I'm going to let you go first to intro our guests, and then I'll tell you what I really think about our guests right after you, because this will be, people, I'm telling you right now, you better mark my words and Nick's words. This will be the best ever. This will be amazing.
Completely. This is our best podcast, and I'm just going to tell you why, because it's three friends, and we're obviously known as the Supplement Industry Insider, but all three of us have been in the industry for a long time, and I met this person about 11 years ago. Before I was living in California. I met his brother first via our friends Chad Ratliff, working for a company called Axis Labs. And actually, Javi, you're going to appreciate this, because this person and I did a lot of business with a Mr. Christian from Mexico.
No way.
Yep. We moved a shitload of protein.
Ooh, nice.
And without him, I don't think, and I don't know how Axis is doing in South America or in Mexico these days, because I no longer, take part of that. But back then, we were doing a lot of business. And then when I was living out in California, I had the pleasure of this gentleman dropping by my house every once in a while. I would work downstairs in my office, and he would work upstairs in the kitchen, and we would often take dip breaks, and then at the end of the day, we'd have a couple drinks and then be on our merry ways. This person means a lot to me, because he is a true friend from the industry, and somebody that I can count on at any time, and he's taught me a lot. And he is one of the most genuine people that you will ever get to know. And even though he may not be in the industry anymore, his legacy still lingers on. So, ladies and gentlemen, before Javi does his bit on this, I want to let you know who we're on tonight. If you haven't been following social medias, we have Mr. Michael Gatchis.
Yay!
Say hello, Michael, real fast.
Say hello, Michael. Hi. So I it's funny, because when you are on the BSN bandwagon, it was you're either with me or against me. And I decided to be not against me, but I decided to be me, right? And what I mean with that is that I truly believe that unless you make good friends and create relationships, you're never going to succeed in this industry and in life. And I met Mike it was 2010, and I don't think he remembers much about that. Of course, he doesn't remember, but I remember him because Mike has always been a very even keel with me. He's never given me anything to hate him, and he's never given him enough to love him. But when I joined Europa, he gave me plenty to love. So with that being said, this guy, and Mike, everybody's watching us and everything. And I hope that you know this, because once you left your old company, I texted you right away, and I know it meant a lot to you, but here's where I get a little bit corny. You do mean a lot to me, more than you think. I mean, you are a true brother. I love you to death. I want you to do good in life. And I always told you that whatever you need, I'm going to be here for you, and that's never going to change. And the reason why is because you've always been a good person to me and my family. He lives in Colorado, and my wife and I, Megan and I, had our last child, let's call it produced and made in Colorado. And you and I had an amazing dinner and drinks that night that I was there, but you were always so kind to say, hey, whatever is it that you guys need, I'm going to be here. To me, that meant so much, because not many people would do that. I worked for a big company called Europa Sports, but at that time I was not. And for you to come out of your shell and say, hey, anything that I'm here, you'll never understand how much that meant to me and my wife. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and that means more to me than anything else. And go Rockies, go Broncos. I'm a Packers fan. We kick that ass, so it doesn't really matter. Fuck everybody. Anyways, Mike, the floor is yours, my friend. How are you? Let's do this.
Welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate you guys having me. I don't know how the hell I'm going to follow that. You guys, if anybody's watching this right now, they know that we have a Venmo account set up, and I'm just pumping you guys cash by the compliment. But I'm floored. I can't say thank you enough. It's funny. If you don't mind, I know this is your show. I did want to share a few things, though. If anybody has ever met me, they know that I tend to talk a lot, even if it's not my place to do it. I don't care. But
that's why we love you.
Yeah, yeah, totally inappropriate. But it only matters as much as the one actually talking cares. So, no, you guys, I really appreciate that. It's the one thing I can genuinely say about you guys is that guys don't when it comes to dudes and it comes to guys, it comes to bros, you don't exactly you don't necessarily always get a genuine opinion of maybe what state a relationship might be in, regardless of what capacity it resides. But at the end of the day, and it's because people are too afraid of giving you the wrong impression based on whatever thing they might be plagued by at one point. But at the end of the day, you guys have always been forthcoming to me about how great we've been helping each other business wise, personally, and so on. And that intro alone is enough to make me stutter and lose track. So I appreciate that. You guys are by far some of the best friends.
We stump you. That's why you say we stump
you. I don't care. Take the Cuban shit, put it aside for a minute, and let the white guy talk.
There it is. There he is. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want.
Does the hand do anything?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
The more sound you make, the more the camera goes on you.
Are we filming this?
Doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything.
You're live. I don't know what it looks like, but you're live.
Oh, there he is.
So two things. You guys are by far, not just industry wise, not just business wise, but you guys have genuinely become two of my best friends in the whole world, and that's a fact. And it's odd. I mean, this industry has got a funny way of doing that. I mean, you got a funny way of actually meeting some of the guys that that you're gonna
be friends forever.
Forever. Yep. I mean, and even if you go 10 years without talking, it doesn't matter.
You guys
run into each other. Yeah, just like nothing happens. So I mean, you guys are by far some of the not just people I've had pleasure of working with, but just guys in general. So I
So
appreciate it.
what the fuck is that hat that you're wearing and shirt? Can you tell us?
Well, I'm not done yet, Javi. So
If
so
you
number
don't give me
one-
compliments, you're done. That's the rule.
see.
See,
Z.
So number one, you guys have had your podcast now for 4 days, and I want to congratulate you on your 34th show. You guys are killing it.
every day.
Man, I'll
Every
tell
day.
you what. And you're right. You know, from the hours of 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., you guys did get a little light on the broadcasting. But thank God you picked it up in the 7th, the A block hour of when
A block. That's it.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for leaving us a comment, jack off.
Yeah, you jack off.
I knew I had to save everything for this moment right here. I couldn't waste any of my good material via text. It wasn't going to happen.
Well, good. Don't hold anything back right now, brother.
Number two is actually more of a question for Nick than it is just a comment. So I haven't actually had the pleasure of actually watching the podcast rather than just listening. Are there subtitles, Nick, for Javi when he talks?
There are actually we've paid a translator to put the Spanglish together.
Is there so Mike, so you know, we actually hire if you look back, I'm watching you, if you look back to that door that you have there right there, we actually hired, right there, we hired a personal trainer to come in and train you while we do this because you're about 25 pounds overweight. I just want to make sure that you know that. Okay, cool.
I appreciate that.
It's the camera. The camera and headbound.
You know, Javi, all day long, I will take a personal trainer as long as you accept the fact that you're going to need a dialect trainer. So
I'm good with that. Nick is my translator, by the way.
That's fair enough. And I hate to say it, but Nick's translation only actually works in about 1/4 of the entire country anyhow. So yeah. So
hey,
that's all right.
Mike, you know, we're talking about this, man, in all honesty and everything. We want to know, Nick and I, we want you to take the floor right now. You know, we're so proud of you. You've done very good in our industry, of course, and now you're no longer in the industry. Tell us a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of the bio because I'm very proud of you.
So for the people that don't know, if you would start how you got in the industry and then chronologically bring us through to where you are today.
How long is this podcast?
65 years ago. 65 years ago. That's how old you look.
We've gone three hours before. So
all right. Well, it's Sunday, and I don't want to.
Is that water?
Yeah, it's
is
Sunday.
that water or amino build? Is that amino build?
Javi.
Yep. Okay, keep going, bro.
I'm looking,
I knew it. I knew it, bro.
I'm looking for something I can show you. I've got nothing, but
I'm gonna get you.
what I'm saying is I'd like to keep this quick. Like Sundays are my Madam Secretary nights, and I need to catch Tay Leone. But so yeah, no. Frankly, the only reason I got into this industry was by mere fate alone. Excuse me, water break.
That's not water.
Not water.
Either is this.
No, I had a feeling. Just to preface all the poor souls watching this thing right now. My nephew, my brother's son, Costa, is turning 2 today, and so I literally broke loose from a birthday party just to come spend it on a digital date with some of my 2 best friends ever. So I'm at my brother's house. So I'm downstairs, and but speaking of my brother, that's in fact how I got involved. My brother and I were actually right out of high school. For me, my brother was out of high school already a few years. We moved downtown together. We got a loft. We scanned the system. We got somehow we qualified for the low income rent kind of thing. I think we had to write out a couple of bribes, but he and I got a really, really cool apartment downtown, and out of nowhere, Chris just decides that he's just going to drop pretty much everything he's doing. I mean, by the way, he was doing extremely well at the time, and out of nowhere, he just said, I'm done. I'm going to do my own thing. And my brother started a website called discountanabolics.com. And if anybody's been in the industry, or at least had been, purchasing any sports nutrition products, all the way, I want to say to the point of 2006, 2007, there's a solid chance or at least have heard of Discount Anabolics, or we call it DA. So while I was in college, I went and worked for him, just kind of part-time. I was also working at a hotel at the time, just kind of, I think I was 18, 19, just working at a hotel, going to school, working with him. Chris, coincidentally at the time, kind of met his now wife, and she kind of got involved, and those two were working together and really refined the business and turned it into something that was bigger and growing faster every day. And next thing you know, in fact, I got to give credit to my cousin. He was actually working with my brother before I was, Greg Caldwell. But then I came on board, and then, next thing you know, there was a small militia here in Colorado that was actually working for Chris and Andrea, and we were doing really well. And then Chris called me one day and he said, hey, by the way, I got an idea to start a brand. You want to get involved? And I said, obviously, I'd love to. And that's where Axis Labs. So Axis came about, and it was a more traditional, I want to say more of an orthodox type dynamic back then, when unlike today, where if you found out that your direct competitor had their own brand, you didn't want to support them by any means. So Chris and I had to kind of keep that separate. So I went under the holy shit, hold on a second, sorry guys, these fucking sleeves.
What are those 13 inch
13s? I don't want to brag, but I went to my doctor the other day and I'm down 26.5 pounds. Hold on.
Give it.
Okay, so
so horrible.
Yeah, so you couldn't, nobody would support a competitor's brand. It was very taboo for anybody in the retail side to get involved in manufacturing. So I had to use an alias, and I used my last name as my middle name, so I was Michael Anthony. So if anybody knows me as Michael Anthony, that's how you know you've been here for a minute. But so Chris, Ange, and I, and at that point, God, it was probably 8 other people. We're doing Axis, and by 2009, 2010, that's when Chris and I kind of started realizing that we were probably better off brothers than we were
business partners.
Right? So we kind of went our own ways, and I tried to kind of stay away for a little bit, but I was also good friends and close. Hey Nick, can you pull your shorts down just a little bit?
No.
It is, yeah.
So I actually ended up going working for the guys down at Dymatize for a little bit, and that was, of course, after getting, Chris's blessing. I wanted to make sure that he knew that I wasn't directly going after him, but it was a business that I've come to know for the last 8 years at the time. So then, unbelievable guys at Dymatize, saw a lot of change with them. Saw between acquisitions and just leadership change. I mean, there was a lot that I learned there. So it was actually a really good progression going from Axis and kind of like ground working all the way to Dymatize, and kind of learned it on a different scale. And from Dymatize, I was actually I got a call from some of the folks over at Iovate, who owns brands like Muscle Tech and Hydroxycut and Six Star and some of the major players that people have seen out there. And they asked if I wanted to come and kind of get on board with them, and not so much but come work for them. And I ended up being there. I started off as basically a field team manager, and then by the time I just left recently was their, I want to say, well, my official title was Associate Director of U.S. Sales and Distribution.
What is that?
Oh, sorry, Javi. In America,
Yeah, in America. Yeah. You're not in Cuba right now. We're in America.
And he's Puerto Rican, by the way.
Puerto Rico.
Rico.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
I won't get into it, but
I just oversaw some things. And that's it, right?
just saying, dude, you are a better athlete than most. That's all I'm trying to say. So,
Okay.
so what do you mean by what is that? Like what did I oversee? What did I do while I was there? Is that what you mean?
Yes. What was it?
Clearly not much. If you
At all.
Apparently not enough. If
That's not true. That's not true because your national sales manager, Brad, departed before you left. So obviously you had some play there.
well, I don't want anybody to think that my being there had anything to do with Brad's departure by any means.
Hey, I'm not
saying anything. Yeah, no.
No, I mean, it's funny after you work for a company for. I mean, it sometimes most of the time it doesn't even take long to really understand the dynamic of an organization. I mean, just the true dichotomy of how something functions. Are they based on logic? Are they based on profitability? Most likely both. But at the end of the day, I think anybody and everybody, regardless what industry you're involved with, I mean, I think you can really attribute a company's success and how they function on a day-to-day basis simply based on the company's culture as a whole. And
so I want to ask you a question about that with that culture, because before you came on, obviously there was Brad and there was Dean. It seems that you came to the helm of the ship very quickly. Why do you think that is?
Did you not see?
Oh, it's the guns. It was
so if you're not watching YouTube right now, Mike is just taking off his shirt and giving us a pose.
Yeah. I gave you a little Magic Mike.
I'm a little scared right now.
Magic Mike, I like that. You're now going to be known as Magic Mike.
That is.
The truth is twofold. Number one, first
the cream always rises to the top.
I'll take that as a compliment, but timing is everything. I think anybody can, I think people would be surprised if they really boiled down their career to brass tacks and really looked at it to say, I got here on hard work, alone. Don't get me wrong. That's a huge factor as to attribute to my success in general. But at the end of the day, those opportunities and those positions needed to make themselves available for me to fulfill them. And, I mean, when there's need, people typically go seeking solutions. So, and if you've got people who are adequate, then why not? It makes sense. And so, I came into Muscle Tech in a limited role, but it just turns out the company was they were in a state of transition that I didn't realize wheels were turning so quickly while I was there. But at the end of the day, wheels were turning, and it just so happened that I had the skill set to kind of fill that.
So you didn't realize that things were going to change there when you got there as quickly as they did?
Well, again, going back to my initial statement that I think culture is really what drives a company's success in general. One thing that you need to realize about iOvate, number one, that I was most, I think, threatened by, but even though it didn't really make a difference, iOvate's a Canadian company. They're based out of Toronto. They're based actually out of a suburb out of Toronto, Oakville, which is, I'll be honest, anybody here watching this, Canada or not, or Javi,
he doesn't know anything above the border. The
49th.
It's all French. Yeah. The 49th parallel. He's done.
But like actually having the opportunity to work for a Canadian company. I mean, honestly, I tell people this every day. You could you could fall asleep in the U.S., you would wake up in Canada, and you wouldn't know the difference. The only time that you would actually feel like understand that something was off is start seeing that signs were in metric, and sometimes French. But so I gained a huge respect for Canada that I didn't exactly, once possess. But that's what I thought my first disadvantage was walking into a Canadian culture that I didn't know how to operate or navigate. Number two
which was apparently not true, but please continue.
Well, it wasn't true. I appreciate that. It wasn't true because I put it on a pedestal wrongfully because I thought I was walking into something foreign, no pun intended, but it turns out that these guys have shit figured out just as much as some of the best operating companies here in the U.S.
How so? I
mean, despite what people bitch about working for large corporate companies, I mean, there's always going to be processes, any sort of SOP that is tedious and what may, render itself just to be completely freaking useless. The company has an operation and a procedure system that operates like a fine-tuned machine. It is I don't know any other way to put it other than saying fucking ridiculous as to how something goes from here and it goes to here and it goes to here. And that's how it works. And by the way, there's no bypassing any step. Like they've got it figured out to the point where any one thing that happens, it goes in this process. Now, with any corporate company, anytime that there is a larger infrastructure involved, any sort of change comes slowly. And, you could attribute that to Iovate one way or the other. You could attribute it to it in a bad way to say, yes, they're it's more of a corporate culture. They have, different procedures that you need to go through in order to get shit, kind of pushed through. But at the end of the day, the one thing I really respect, I think the most about the company is the executives were extremely involved in the business from a very high level position, like a perspective, all the way down to a very ground level perspective. So if there was something that
Mike, so how is that? I want to interrupt there for a second because so you're saying from the high level, they were very involved in it. How high level was that? Like, are you talking VP level? You're talking, did they went all the way to Iovate or you stayed at Muscle Tech the whole time?
And I want to add something to that too. So this is a two-part question. By the way, we're going back to number 2 when you're done. So everybody, especially Andino, we're apologizing for the digression, but this is good information. How is that different from how things were done at Dymatize? And then when you left, obviously Dymatize was a transition. When you say you went to Iovate, things were more involved in the structure. How did that affect you and the way that things got done in your daily life? And expand upon it as much as you want.
As much as you can, actually.
I mean, listen, I could touch on the topic within my actual and literal experiences, I can touch on the topic just the same as anybody would write in a book. I mean, at the end of the day, as corporate companies, or what I don't even want to call it. Let's leave the word corporate out. As a company itself expands, the simple fact of that expansion is that quality itself is going to diminish regardless. So in essence, here we are in the wonderful purple state of Colorado. But we have some of the we are the state with the number one. Let me rephrase that. We have the most microbreweries as far as beer goes of any other state in the entire country. And with that, there's a few of these microbrews. There he goes. He reaches for the. Is that called a dirty redhead? Which one is that?
That is not your mom's apple pie.
Not your mom. No. Not your mama. So with that, so consider it this way. you have a company who some guy starts building. Excuse me, he starts brewing and fermenting beer out of his garage. You know, he's starting with 5-gallon Home Depot buckets, but at the end of the day, people really like his product. He begins to expand. He gets to get bigger, and suddenly his distribution is expanding all over the country. And for all you know, I mean, he might be actually expanding and distributing into different countries altogether. The simple fact of that, though, is if you were to take if you had a pint of his beer from when he was brewing it in his garage, and you were to compare it to a pint of the beer maybe 5-10 years down the road after he has sustained all of this expansion, unquestionably the quality of those 2 pints of beer are going to be different. And while some of the most visionary and I want to say genuine type of business owners have said that we are not going to diminish our quality as we grow, the simple fact is that you're going to diminish some sort of quality as you get bigger. It does not. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. And in fact, I mean, if you can, and we're talking tangible product, but what you can do is you can actually expand that argument into the quality of people, customer service, sales, basically the timeliness of your AP and your AR departments, just accounting, finance in general. Your marketing, I mean, your marketing might actually get better, but it's not going to be as grassroots and as local as it once was, because you're now expanded to the point that there is no way you can maintain the same quality of just company, if you want to utilize it in an overall referencing term, than you once did before. So when you compare Dymatize and Iovate, I don't want to say it's unfair, but it's almost as if it's just expected. Iovate or Dymatize, which by the way, I'm sure they're doing much, much better now than I was before, because their growth, from what I've understood, has been, it dimmed, but then it just grew substantially. They were sub 200 million, right? Which, by the way, is nothing to shake a stick at. That's remarkably big considering the amount of companies that are out there now. You're talking about Iovate, by the way, and I don't know the particular financials, so I'm not going to get into it and tell you what I think it's worth. But the word on the street is that Iovate now is valued at over $1 billion.
So they sold for.
Well, that's the conversion of what they sold for. So when you take and again, Dymatize is probably in, after their acquisition by Post and so on, they're probably in a much different situation than from what I remember. But let's just use those apples to apples and say Dymatize is a $200 million company. Iovate is $1 billion company. From what Mike Gatchis himself knows it as, clearly it doesn't make sense to operate $1 billion company the same way as it does a $200 million company. That said, when it comes to smaller organizations versus large organizations, depending on the process and workflow, shit's going to change, because there is just too much input that is yielding too much output for the same amount of resources to handle and manage effectively, the same as another one. So I don't mean to get so dry. I love how you guys said this is going to be the best podcast ever. It turns out it's the most boring. But
believe me, this is not boring.
Yeah, it is. I disagree. This is very boring.
Javi, I don't want to see your teeth.
Yeah, Javi, I think this is muy boring. But at the end of the day, it's like the difference that I personally endured, and the reason I gave that fucking 15-minute speech was it's not because Mike thought that the vending machine options in Dymatize were better than the vending machine options at Iovate. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the necessity of business. And at the end of the day, people are looking to maximize profitability. They're looking to maximize their EBITDA, and what you can do is let's produce
please explain EBITDA for us, for those out there that don't know what that means.
EBITDA is an acronym for earnings before
EBITA.
earnings before interest, tax, and amortization.
So basically,
that is basically what a company is worth.
Right.
Exactly. That's it. That's what your company brings in. That's it. Period.
So, Javi, do you keep going to the bathroom? By the way, my light.
He sounds like he's in a tunnel.
No, it keeps going. It keeps going to his screensaver.
Because he's paused his screen, and that we get to view that beautiful picture of him.
That's beautiful right there.
There we go.
And he's not on microphone. Fucker.
You want to see me that bad, really?
Why are you not on microphone?
Because, well, we'll talk about it offline. It sucked. Trust me.
No, it didn't. It actually worked really well, but we'll talk about that later. Mike, please continue.
By the way, that wasn't a microphone. That was the cheap one that I was.
I know it was the headset, but it was still working.
That was right. All right, Michael, go on.
Michael, please continue. EBITDA.
And you guys wonder why I don't comment on your shit.
Because you're stupid.
Fucker.
No, because we argue about microphones. So I think what people have a hard time, the is that annoying, that glare? Maybe?
No, not at all.
Let me get the Rockies in the background. So,
oh, beautiful.
So at the end of the day, I sports nutrition is a really interesting business because, people get into this business because they have an absolute genuine passion for what the business is. And I respect that wholeheartedly. And in fact, I want to say, I don't even want to say 9 out of 10. I want to say 99 out of 100 of the people that I have met that have got involved within sports nutrition or just fitness as a whole solely got involved with it because they just had a passion for what it was. But after a while, once reality sets in, cash flow begins to, materialize, and just your general, your general inputs need to begin. I should say validating or your inputs need to substantialize the outputs. What it comes down to is a business at the end of the day needs to maximize the profitable growth. And so the way that Dymatize operated, even though it was different than the way that Iovate operated, doesn't mean that either one of them operated incorrectly. They both operated appropriately for what it was that they were generating at the time. And just to give you a simple formula, that the more that you can actually produce utilizing the least amount of resources, and by resources I mean the cost of resources, is going to yield a higher, gross margin or EBITDA or profitability, or however you want to measure your business. That's just a simple fact. So when it comes to people getting pissed off at Time Warner for their customer service being shitty, and people getting pissed off at I don't know, AOL because the You Got Mail guy is 20 years old. I'm tired of it, by the way. I can't stand him. But would it's easy for a customer to say, you know what, screw this. This guy sucks. But
so, Mike,
hold on. Let me finish this one thought because I'm going to lose it. And I'm telling you right now, my Adderall just kicked in.
Let him finish his thought.
My Adderall just kicked in, and I'm feeling good.
Yes, I know.
There's a bell curve for an organization that, while they know that they have unsatisfied customers out there, satisfying all of those customers to make sure that they have a 99 to 100% satisfaction rate might actually cost them more money. Satisfying less customers than what they're currently satisfying might actually lose them more income. So there's a lot of companies that really try to find that sweet spot within that bell curve to say, we know we can't please everybody, but we know we can please the majority. And
so were you guys one of those? Were you there? Like, was iObit one of those companies that wanted to be in the middle ground, you think?
I think anybody who's relying on a paycheck from their own business is going to try to maximize that one way or the other. But I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah, of course it was a good question. I'm a fucking smart Puerto Rican.
Buen borregenta, sí, muy gracias.
So what I'm trying. All right, so Mike, I give you a little bit of what's going on right now. So Nick and I apologize to the audience right now. So here's the thing, and Nick, you don't know this. So everything that I spend money on, the equipment wasn't working. So I switched to the cheaper version that we had, and it wasn't working. So I went into straight iPhone 7 and speaking to you guys on my iPhone 7. So this is no longer the Mac. So here's the thing.
We gotta work on that, by the way. Go ahead and finish.
But that's okay. Here's the thing, because this is going the way that I wanted to go. So Mike, you and I are coming from the same background. Okay, CPG companies, acquiring, big mentality, big dollars. EBITDA is big for everybody. But
this is an exciting video for those of us that want to see your left beard.
We're going to have the most exciting podcast of all time. Let's talk about EBITDA.
No. But here's the thing, because Nick and I spend a lot of time telling the customers, and Nick, you know this.
Hey, by the way, I'm about to make this podcast video. Exciting.
Yeah, good. All right, so Nick, you and I spend a lot of time. Yeah, you and I spend a lot of time talking about research and about, getting to know your customer.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna bitch. Guess what? You need to know what you're bitching about. That's the bottom line. So Michael is telling you guys that iObit, I make a company just like Glanbia, BSN, Post, which is Diametize, has spent a lot of money and resources trying to get to that point. Trying to get to the point that they understand and know what the customer wants. So my question to Mike was, did you think in your time at iObit, did you guys reach that? Did you reach to the point that you knew what the customer, I'm talking about the customer, the consumer. Did you guys ever reach the point that you understood what the customer wanted?
By the way, we are live on YouTube and we have viewers. So if the speakers can make their faces more apparent, it would be greatly appreciated.
I was on mute.
Did you hear it? Yes, Javi asked you a question, but more importantly, Javi, because I can only see his left-hand face, and I'm sure YouTube is loving this.
What? I'm good here.
No, but you weren't referring to me using the restroom. Okay, so Javi, to answer your question, so again, consider today, when it comes to M&A,
explain M&A for those of us that don't know it.
Sorry guys, I keep forgetting that my associate's degree is, you know what I'm saying?
Believe me, there might be some people that don't know.
No, I know. No. My apologies. It was more than
you guys are horrible people. Okay,
more
digression alert.
More of a knock on myself. So
rookies, we got rookies.
So an M&A is mergers and acquisitions, which by the way is which is a beautiful thing. I mean, there's tons of books you can read as to how to leverage money to make you more money. I mean, it's the epitome. It's the quintessential definition of taking, making $1 out of 15 cents. I don't want to quote Tupac here, but M&A has genuinely become that. And if you look around at some of the companies that right now that are actually being acquired, bodybuilding.com, for example, was acquired by a group right here in
Vitality.
Liberty
Media. Yes.
Liberty Media. By the way, Liberty Media, coolest thing ever. Short story. They are maybe a quarter mile away from Centennial Airport, which is just basically it's only good for, single prop or maybe, twin small engine, just private jets.
That's where I fly. That's
how Javi rolls. Yeah.
Make sure everybody knows that.
That's how they transport.
So my G7 won't land there, I'm guessing.
G7 is not actually on the market yet, but no, it won't land there either. Liberty Media.
Don't fuck with me about my private plane.
Liberty Media legitimately has a tarmac runway. By the way, at their building, they have their own hangar, and then they actually have a tarmac runway that connects to Centennial Airport. So
we have that. We have that here in Boca, so that's okay. Go ahead, keep going.
You have it there in Boca?
Yeah, it's right here in my house. It's right there.
I was going to say, you're working for a different cartel than Europa. I mean, a company than Europa. It's just cool. Could you imagine all I'm saying is, could you imagine leaving your office, like legitimately getting off a conference call saying, hey, I got to go, hanging up the phone, walking downstairs, and then get into a jet and taking off?
That's crazy, bro.
I wouldn't say I'm close.
We can say that, but we can also look at the market evaluations for what bodybuilding.com is selling for these.
No
comment.
Oh, I've got plenty of comment there. That is just not relevant at the moment.
Oh, shoot. No. Okay.
No. Nick, I'm going to take your user's advice and try to stay on topic.
That was me, by the way. It wasn't bad.
So what I'm saying though is it'd be pretty cool just to go downstairs, jump on a plane. Like so Ryan DeLuca, I wouldn't say we're by any means friends, but we're certainly acquaintances. And and he would just fly in, and literally they would taxi straight to the front door of that office. He would jump off, go up to a meeting, get back on the plane after maybe 2 hours, and go right back to Boise, be home for lunch. But Javi, Javi, you asked the question and I want to answer it. I feel like I owe you that.
Let him answer the question. Let him answer.
The question. I have to ask this. Do you think, Mike, the way that we all know each other, we're friends, right? Because Nick and I, again, because you don't listen to the damn podcast, so you miss a lot. Do you think that that's cool? That somebody can go downstairs? I mean, I know it's cool for us, but is that sending the wrong message to the end consumer or the retailer that is struggling right now?
Be honest with you, the end consumer doesn't fucking know that just happened.
Okay, but no.
Wait, does having a private jet with an attached tarmac send a wrong message to an end consumer?
Yeah, does it?
Who gives a shit?
Well, let's say I'm not talking about just end consumer. I'm talking about the retailer. That retailer that is selling you product. And the owner of the company coming in.
They probably didn't know that until right about now.
No, they knew. It's Ryan DeLuca. Come on, it's my buddy. They know that. I'm just saying, what is your perspective, Mike, on the kind of quote-unquote show-off on private planes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris in our area? Are you in agreement to that? What do you think about that?
I'm not in agreement with the word that agreement is actually a word. I'm in agreement.
There we go.
Okay. I think you're asking two different questions though. Am I more concerned as an end consumer or am I more concerned as a stockholder?
Answer both of those.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's any surprise that I'm a capitalist at heart, but I think as both a consumer and a stockholder, had I been one, I mean, frankly, assuming that there wasn't just frivolous spending just out the wazoo, I think I would be more prone for the idea than against. Let me ask you a question. What do you think an executive of a $500 million organization or even a $1 billion organization makes annually? What do you think his annual salary is?
Their salary is at about, if the company is if a company is $6 billion, let's just take it, that executive, the person in charge of the revenue is making about $750,000 to close to $1 billion.
That's your salary.
Yes.
You're saying the chief executive is making 15% of overall revenue?
Correct. Yes.
I think you're a bit optimistic. I can appreciate that, but
no. It's not optimistic. It's a fact.
Okay, so you've got somebody's P&Ls that okay, I got it. All right, fair enough. Here's my question. So if somebody is making $1 billion, what would you attribute their hourly wage to? If you were going to break that down.
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I'll break it down to about, wage will be about $1,350 an hour.
You're talking 1,000 million.
No, 1,000. It'd be $13,500 an hour. That would be what they're making per hour if they were to make the salary that I just talked.
Sounds to me like somebody's thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot. Trust me.
Let me ask you a question. If you were invested in a company, would you want to be paying the salary of 13,000 and some change for an executive to be sitting in the airport waiting for a flight?
No.
Let me ask you another question. Would you would you also feel comfortable with your investment if that executive was flying with several other executives? That, by the way, not only are you paying his salary now at 13 and some change per hour, but you're also paying their salaries at my guess is maybe 75% of which that they're now maybe traveling with that executive. There are other also executives, but now that they're also still waiting in the airport with that executive, the CEO, when I say that, now they're actually on the flight and they're not necessarily as nearly productive because they're surrounded by pedestrian, and they can't dive into their business while they're actually so they can't even utilize their public flight as work hours. And so now not only are you paying for the time that they're bullshitting in the airport, now you're actually paying for their salaries while they're not getting anything done on an airplane. So my point to you is, yes, I would absolutely support that because if this organization had any viability beyond 10 years, it would pay itself over 10 times. No, there's no doubt about it. If I saw an executive flying on a private jet, I would tell you right now that, of course, the revenue is going to justify it. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to bet that guy doesn't just have an ego, but he has the want and the need to want to utilize his time effectively and efficiently. And the only reason I can tell you that confidently is my CEO, sole owner and proprietor of Iovate. He flew privately pretty much everywhere he went. And if you so had the pleasure, like myself, to fly with him a few times, but by the way, I was on the lower end of who flew with him on a regular basis, they would say that, well, believe it or not, but there's guys that clearly flew with him more than I did. He genuinely utilized every single minute of that flight with who he was on the flight with. He did not waste a single, I tell you right now, he didn't waste a single dime. What, Nick, is that I've never seen a cigar like that before.
It's a shorty. I'm smoking it down to the
shorty.
It's a good one.
He doesn't know. He's too busy doing corporate talk.
It looked like it had white wrapping. So
Please finish.
my short answer of the long explanation is yes. I support it so long though that the revenue justifies it.
Well, and Mike, I think that you and I spoke about this after your departure. This has nothing to do with me or Nick and I or the show hating that. This has more to do with the fact that we know what's going on in the groundworks, right? We know what's going on, what the retailer is feeling, e-commerce, whoever it is, right? And you are projecting and you are telling the world where you at, and you're showing your G40, whatever the plane it is, and you're going out there and you're showing off what you're doing. Is that a good idea? I mean, to me, it's like, look, I come from retail. I come from the smaller world, right? And if I see an owner doing all that, man, that's cool. It is cool. But when you're putting out there in social media, it kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. And honestly, this is not just me saying it. This is a months and months of work on my part to collect data from retailers. They just feel like, I'm paying for your gas at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying for your gas. So is that okay? I mean, I agree with you. Listen, if you're paying your dues and you're a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, and I worked for that in the past, and I had the pleasure to fly in those planes, but the minute that I guess that I was never brave enough to post it, because I felt like my people, the small retailers, never deserved that unless I could take him up in that little plane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with you, but at the same time, you have to be careful. So my question to you was more like your personal opinion on like going out there and posting it and blasting it to the whole world to see. Are you okay with that?
Javi, are you organizing your 8-tracks right now?
Yes.
What, like, I feel like you're going through cassette tapes and just
That's not me. That's
like,
Nick.
you wanted to go from ascending to descending, so now all of a sudden, like, Zeppelin is, kind of like at the top of the list. I don't know. Like,
That wasn't me. Let's start that the Puerto Rican was not doing that, and stop judging me because I'm brown.
Okay. So I can appreciate. So that question is posed a little bit differently, and I'm going to answer it as straightforward and I should say as briefly as I can, because I think what you're saying, I think what you're getting at, you have a point. And to your point, I will ask you a rhetorical question. My former CEO at Iovate, his name was Paul Gardner.
Good guy, by the way. Good guy.
And the only reason I say that is because it's a simple Google search and you'll figure out who's who, right? So it's not like I'm exposing anybody by any means.
Well, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Do me a favor. I will bet you, this is coming from a former employee of Iovate, I will bet you money that you will not find a social network affiliated with a Paul Gardner, owner of Iovate, living in Oakville, Canada.
Now, that's my point. That's my point.
So I understand what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I understand. I now understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
now you get it.
So the guy who's doing it just to do it is wasting money. I'll tell you that right now. The guy is wasting money.
There we go.
My former CEO, I can say this with full confidence. While he might have established a new standard and lifestyle, great, good for him. He fucking deserves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who are you to start a business and not actually enjoy the finer things in life, and then be ashamed of what you're doing? No, screw that. Right. The guy deserves it. But at the end of the day, the bottom line of what he was doing, his overall tactic, was to achieve maximum productivity. And you know what I mean? It was almost funny. It was almost an inside joke. I mean, it was a passive joke, and nobody genuinely meant it. But it was like, oh man, I gotta fly on Gardner Air.
Yeah.
But I don't care who you are. You fucking loved flying on Gardner Air, and the reason is because you got to post it on your Facebook feed. Who gives a shit Paul was not there to sit there and let you take ride along in his coattails. Paul was there to talk to you and get you in a comfortable area that he can actually hear what you had to say without actually feeling like you kind of needed to filter anything based on the environment you were in. He just wanted to say, hey, listen, shoot me straight. And you know what, Paul, I'll tell you this right now, 85 to 90% of every minute Paul has probably spent on a private jet was utilized to maximize the company's overall profitability and growth. I will put my name on that, no doubt.
Well,
So,
your name is not that good, so
no, I totally agree. That's why I don't feel bad risking it. So we're good.
So overall, I mean, with that type of structure, that I guess you felt that you could only be. I'm just throwing this out there as a analogy. Be on Gardner Air to air your concerns about the company. Did that have any play in how you felt the company played the game in the market?
Well, first of all, let me preface the fact that I don't want to say that I was a frequent patron of Gardner Air by any means. I was.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. The fact that you were in a space that you felt that you were safe to say what you needed to say.
My personal departure from Iovate was I almost wish my dad was down here with me. He would tell you right now, because he tells me just about every other Tuesday and Thursday that, Mike, you're too interested in the money. You're too interested in the money. And you know what? I think anybody who is genuinely interested in financial success is not solely looking to buy a jet ski, a boat, some sort of Ferrari knockoff, just so they can go out to a suburb club and get laid. I think what most of the people look for in financial success is for the fact that they can actually provide their families and the people they genuinely love with financial stability, but also help them build character. So yes, I'm a capitalist, but so when it comes down to the decisions, not just Iovate, not just Europa, not just Dymatize, not just Axis Labs, any company that I've ever come in contact with is going to look at the market as a whole. And they're going to say, where's our biggest opportunity? And our biggest opportunity is going to fluctuate based on revenue, based on our, revenue is obviously going to justify, based on the product selection, it's going to justify the margin, the profitability on said products. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, here's what matters. You will never, ever be able to justify a business more black and white than knowing how many dollars they are bringing back to the organization as a profit. And when I say as a profit, they're dollars that don't need to be reinvested, and they're dollars that can actually be diversified into, obviously operational expenses, or even dividends, or just paying out executives. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have $1 billion. The old saying says, 0% of a million is still zero.
Yep.
But if I was out there selling, $1,000 and I still made 5%, I'm still doing better than the other guy. So you cannot judge, and you can't point fingers at any organization any other way than how much money are they bringing back and putting in their own pockets. And so when it comes to companies, go ahead.
As long as you're doing that, as long as you're reinvesting in the growth of the company, then you cannot judge.
Yeah, to an extent. And I say that, I don't want to say, I don't want to say that just to negate you. I say that as a caveat, as when it comes to sports nutrition, it's a very unique, incredibly unique industry that people have found various and interesting ways to market to other people. And, you know, and by the way, it's pretty interesting to see how it's actually replicating or duplicating itself into other industries to say, hey, we're here for the customer, knowing that, hey, being here for the customer now means drawing more profitability in the future.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
That's fine. It's a culture based on a marketing effort, and there's nothing wrong with that. God bless them. You know, they've learned how to leverage. I'll tell you right now, if you haven't learned how to leverage your customer base in 2017, you don't belong in the market as it exists today.
You're gonna lose.
Agreed. So at the end of the day, do I blame Iovate or Dymatize or Axis Labs or Joe Schmo supplements down the street for how they operate?
No.
Fuck no, I don't. And the reason is because if they were operating, you know, if you're an individual business owner, or you actually have stockholders or actually stakeholders or shareholders, however you've actually drawn up the agreement, and you have additional responsibilities other than just yourself, it is your sole obligation to maximize the ROI, the return on investment of what those people gave you, despite what your consumers may think of you in the long run. Now, hold on a second. Caveat again: if you can manipulate what it is that your consumers think about you as being I'm 100% no 100% guarantee, I appreciate that. I really genuinely do. And even if it's just something that they're using as a marketing tactic, I don't give a shit. I appreciate it. I'll buy their product because I know they're going to replace my product if it goes south in the future. But at the end of the day, your responsibility as a business owner is to bring money back, ROI back to your investors. Now, if you're a sole proprietor and you own that business as a whole, and your genuine want and need to run a business is to service the customer and give them 100% of everything they ask for, I sincerely and genuinely appreciate your tactic and your mindset, because trust me, who doesn't want to be taken care of 100%? But I also bid you farewell, because you won't make it 18 months, depending on how much money somebody gave you.
That's true, and I love it. I think, and I think that we share the same feelings about it. I think that my questions was more. Nick and I spent a lot of time, Mike. So talking about caring about the little guys. Caring about what's important, caring about family, and I think that was more like. I've been gay a lot. We share a lot of similarities.
Wait, he said weight gain, not.
Yeah. I was gonna say bit of a Freudian slip. That's all right. Go ahead.
No, he I know what he meant.
Yeah.
No. We spent a lot of time in the show talking about what is it that motivates people to be part of the industry.
By the way, we can see the pores on your nose, and that's about it.
Me?
No,
Javi. Hold the camera back a little bit, buddy.
There we go. So we spent a lot of time talking about caring about the industry, right? Now, with that being said, I'm gonna turn the camera off on my side. Nick, it's about that time. We're going Chupacabra, buddy.
Chupacabra. Here we go. I'm going to play the Chupacabra music. Ready?
Do we really have Chupacabra music?
We just played it.
Did I miss it?
You missed it. You may not be able to hear it, but you'll be able to see it. We are welcome you to the Chupacabra, and whoever has their sound turned up on their speakers, turn it down because it's giving us feedback.
So Mike, we have a section in the show before we get into the end of it and everything, but that's we don't have to go to the end of it. It's just the way that it is with Chupacabra, which I'm going to be reading a series of words, and the first thing that comes to mind, you're going to be answering. Very simple. And you're a very smart guy, so you should be able to knock this one out of the park. Not like the Rockies, which sucked the last 5 years and don't make the playoffs.
Don't even bother. We have one team in Denver, and they're the Broncos. So it's just we've established. Okay, we figured that out. Let's move on.
Nick, I know my camera is vertical. I know that. My man. All right, here we go. So, first one. You ready, Mike?
Oh, I'm ready. Do you have this kind of time?
One word.
You have 10 seconds to answer, and as brief as possible.
All right. So hold on a second. The Chupacabra. By the way, did I not just sound like a white chick from Phoenix?
Oh, you sounded horrible, bro. You sounded
the
like
Chupacabra. Hey,
is real.
Oh my God, a Chupacabra. So is this like
Chupacabra?
The Chupacabra, help, man. No, you're getting a little southeast for me. But hold on. Is this like a bonus round? Like, what am I missing?
This is the bonus round. So Javi's going to read you off a series of words, and you have 10 seconds to answer what those words mean to you as briefly as possible. So he's going to say a word, and then you're going to say what it means to you as quickly as possible.
Flash.
Okay, are the words in English?
No.
You know what, Mike? Once again, and it's late. Fuck you.
Hey, we have viewers.
Oh, I love it. F you again.
Ándale, güey.
Okay.
Ándale, güey.
So they're in English, and just one. So I'm going to tell you a word, and you're going to tell me either what they mean to you or what the significance is. Got that?
I hope so. Yeah, it's like when you get the smear.
Oh, shut up! You don't even know what.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Here we go. First one. Here we go. Nick, you got music for me?
I already played it. We're in the Chupacabra.
Here we go. Leadership.
Earned respect.
All right. Second word, direction.
Clear vision. I know it's almost a synonym.
Hey, shut up. You're going to fuck it up. Just shut up. Competence.
Hold on. I got to turn the music down. All right, go ahead.
Competence.
I don't want to rhyme, but confidence.
Good. Measurable goals.
KPIs.
Communication.
Essential.
Accountability.
Paramount. I mean, yeah.
You got it? And last but not least, discipline.
Inevitable.
All right. He did it. He got it, Nick.
Boom.
All right.
There, Chupacabra. Done.
Chupacabra done. So, Mike, you're probably one of the smartest guests that we're ever going to get. So I'm going to break it down to you, but I'm not going to make you feel very smart. Right?
I'm guessing you've never had Chad Ratliff on the show then before.
Oh, we kind of did. So
not yet. Well, kind of, yes, but not really.
So here's the thing. You bring a lot to the show, and Nick, you and I, of course, approve to this. Here's the thing. Those 7 words, Tony and Dino, BSN came to us when we first started. I think it was episode. What do you think, Nick? Like 005, 006?
Yeah, probably right around there. Yeah.
And we asked a question on Facebook saying, "Hey, give us something to talk about." And he asked me, "How would you build a powerful sales team?" Right.
Yep.
So to me, those 7 words that I asked you identify what I would look for to build a powerful team. Right. So you just gave us an answer of what that really means to you. And to me, not only you answered the best out of any guest that we had, and you really did, you truly did. It was when you tied it all together, right? When you tie all the words together, you have to have leadership at the top, because without leadership, you don't know your direction, right? And then you have direction. So basically, your leader is gonna find and identify that direction. Then after that, you have competence. Well, you have to have competent people to be able to follow the leadership and the direction. Then you go into goals, correct? Like you said, you have to have KPIs. You have to understand how to measure those, and they have to be realistic. After that is communication. See, communication is key in a sales team and in life, because unless you know what the message is, how are you going to not only build the team, but also be successful? Once you have that, then it's accountability. How do you measure that? So now we have the communication, we understand the plan. How do we measure that? So we have the KPIs, we have the goals. How do we actually manage that in order for us to be successful? And then last but not least, as you said, discipline. You have to have the discipline to be able to adapt and acknowledge that everybody in the top have given you all the directions, that all their 6, in order for you to be successful. So to us, it was so important for you to answer the way that you did, because we want the followers to understand that building a powerful team is not very easy. More in our industry, we've been talking and everything. If we get down to like the nitty gritty, Mike, and you know that, I mean, we're friends and everything, but it's very tough to work in our industry. It's very dynamic, a lot of moving parts, right? And in order for us to build a powerful team, what do we need? We need people that I need to be able to rely on others, right? You cannot build this on your own. Like when you were at IOBay and Diamond Size and on your pass, you need to rely on other people. You needed to make sure that your people understood those 7 steps, because unless you have that, you're never going to be able to win. And to me, it's kind of funny because you're out of the industry now. We haven't even talked about what you're doing, which we'll give you a chance to do that, because we want to plug everything that you're doing. But Nick and I are still in this industry, and we're very motivated about the future of the industry. But at the same time, we understand that this industry is very, very short-lived. Unless you have a good reputation and you have a good product to sell, you're not going to last. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to try to do the same thing. So I appreciate you taking the time, not only tonight, but the Chupacabra section is very good. And Nick, I think that you're agreeing with me. This is a very good Chupacabra section.
This is yeah, I'm telling you, one of our best.
Yeah, one of our best. And, Mike, so you were in the industry. Now we get to nitty gritty before we go into charities and cut us off. So you were in the industry for a long time. You enjoyed it. We met through the industry. Now you're not in the industry anymore. Here's your chance right now. You're going to plug your business. What is it that Mr. Mike Gatchis is doing right now at this moment, not in this industry? What is it that you're doing, buddy?
Selling guns, man. Sí, pistolas. Oh, perdóname. Me vende pistolas. Sí, me vende pistolas en la internet. ¿Cómo se dice internet en español?
No, la prostituta.
La prostituta, sí. Sí, me vende pistolas en los prostitutas.
No, escúcheme.
Sí.
What are you doing, Mike?
We do have Spanish followers though, so just so you know, they got
hey.
that.
So Mike, we
hey.
have a lot of followers, but not only that, we really care about what you're doing right now. So go ahead, go for it. Tell us exactly what you're doing.
I am heading a Puerto Rican translation group out of South Florida.
So horrible.
You only have one. You only have one client right now.
No, dude. But by the way,
Soy yo.
Dude pays. Hey, by the way,
don't catch my
look
checks,
at
by the way.
look at the fucking compound he's in right now. Like, the only reason he's not in something short of a mansion is because he's got to pay his white guy. You know what I'm saying? But I am in oddly a very what you would I don't want to tip anybody off, but a oddly very similar business. But I've actually migrated over to the firearm business. I'm a redneck at heart. Grew up kind of down south, southern Colorado, and kind of in the sticks. And while I didn't really kind of fully embrace it, kind of through grade school, but like as I got through high school and college, I just kind of realized that there's something to the lifestyle of just kind of living out in the middle of the woods. And I don't know, kind of took on an appreciation for firearms and such. And but you know, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is I'm not, you know, Ray Kroc had a good line. I don't want to even call it a line. I almost want to call it it was more of a motto that, yeah, the guy, you know, he basically told everybody, he's like, yeah, I sell hamburgers, but you know, I'm not in the hamburger business. I'm in the real estate business. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, like hamburgers is what I sell, but you know, real estate is the business I'm in.
Dude, what are you selling? Stop with the BS. Jesus.
It's not BS. But what I'm saying is that,
oh my God. So Spanish. You're so Spanish.
No. I think the point he's trying to make is you're selling widgets, but you're selling a different kind of widget, and you're trying to gain traction in that widget space.
Yeah, Javi, we're gonna get you a new translator. So what I'm saying, is Nick in a roundabout way is on point. I'm so what a lot of people don't know. I think Nick, more than anybody knows this, given the fact that
I love guns.
We both love guns, but at the end of the day, I'm more of a web guy. I'm more of a programmer. I'm more of a
nerd.
A nerd than I am actually a gun guy. But I'm still a gun guy. And you know what's interesting, you know, going all the way back to, you know, when I said that 99% of the people that were actually interested or actually successful in the sports nutrition industry they have a genuine passion for what the business is and what, you know, you forget sometimes that I say that of the people that are successful, that means there's still another 1% out there. And you know what, it might even be not so much 99-1, but it might even be, you know, 50-50. I don't know what the odds are, but there are guys out there who have genuinely taken a love and respect for the, you know, just internet e-commerce in general as a topic, and utilize sports nutrition as a widget because it provided, you know, it yielded higher margins than, you know, any other typical widget than most people were selling, and they learned how to maximize that. I tell you right now, without wanting to give shameless and free plugs online, I can tell you five online websites right now who have had zero interest in sports nutrition, but have dominated the market based on their web knowledge. And I think there's something to be said for the current environment in which everybody right now is battling, because trust me, it's a battle and it's tough given everything that's going on. I mean, there's not enough time. I mean, shit, we've already been going for an hour and a half, and we'd easily triple that if we were to talk about what was the inhibitor in sports nutrition sales these days.
So on that point, can we get you back for episode 2 to discuss that?
Absolutely, no, absolutely. I would love to.
Okay.
I'd love to dive
Good.
into that. In fact, that's probably one of my most. I think post leaving. I don't want to say leave. I'll never ever say leave the industry, because at the end of the day, nobody is as blessed as they'd like to be to say, "Hey, you know what? I found something new. I've moved on. C'est la vie."
That's true.
Nobody. I mean, if you're that lucky to be able to say that, then God bless you. God bless you. You found something good that you know. But at the end of the day, like, I'll never say that I'm out of sports nutrition. While I feel confident that I found something new, I'll never say that I'm out of sports nutrition. I mean, I know.
So where can people find you? Like, I mean, I think that we're getting into the point that people understand what you're trying to say, but what is it exactly that you're doing right now? Just tell us exactly what you're doing.
All right, to put a capstone on what I was saying before is that people have taken a genuine interest in how the web operates and actually utilizes retail to a maximum. Those are the people who have learned to actually leverage sports nutrition as one of their widgets to maximize their success. Not so much, I love sports nutrition, I'm going to learn web. It's inverse. I love web. What can I sell that's highly profitable?
Yep.
Sports nutrition. And I think that's why people are getting beat these days, is you've got the Amazons, bodybuilding, despite their recent financial declines, but at the end of the days, they found ways to manipulate the market based on their understanding of technology and modern technology, and people who understand it even better than them have managed to emerge into the market brand new, fresh, and still have managed to become extremely successful. So what I'm doing now is utilizing that same tactic, but there's the old stupid term. There's two terms. Number one, love what you do. Never work a day in your life. Great. I love it. I'm into it. What else? Number two, which I think is more applicable for me than anything, is that to the expert, opportunity is slim. To the novice, opportunity is infinite. And when it came to sports nutrition, I'm by no means saying that I was an expert, but I found that my opportunity was getting slimmer and slimmer day to day. And, I wanted one day just to say, hey, I want that feeling and ability to be the novice. I don't know if that's going to be in sports nutrition. It's probably not going to be, because I can't find anything right now that's prosperous enough to say, hey, I feel novice and I can't wait to take on anything and everything I can. So I wanted to find an industry that I said, I was the novice, and I all my new fresh ideas were actually going to be new and enlightening to the consumers, and thus far they have been, and the consumers have really taken a liking to it, and it's worked out. But it's despite whether or not you're actually heading to a black hole and you're going to sink, it doesn't matter if other people feel that way and they probably know the truth. At least you have a better feeling about doing it.
So what's the website? Where can we find you? Where can people find you?
Javi, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to give me a shameless plug. And I just want you to know now that I'm not into taking these opportunities to take my website and put it in front of everybody's faces. It's just not something I believe in. It's
a great logo.
I don't What? So what I'm saying is that, you know, when it comes to a customer client, like when it comes to a customer base, I don't want to like buy them. I want to earn them like organically. I want them to find my website because they genuinely want to find good, high quality rifle parts that will actually be shipped to them same day. They don't need to find an FFL.
So by the way, all you people listening out there, it is Rifle Life. Just Google it.
Mike, you suck at this. Jesus. Say it.
What? Oh.
Say it. Oh, there it is.
There,
Yeah.
it was there.
No, guys. Truth be told, I really do appreciate the shameless plug. No, so I started a website called Rifle.life, and which by the way, the business is, and again we're going on 2 hours now. The business is ironically and very just I mean, it's almost creepy how similar it is to sports nutrition. And I don't want to say that to encourage people to get involved, you know, to come compete with me. But at the end of the day, you know, what customers are looking for these days, like, don't get me wrong, you have 400 vendors out there. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to tell you this right now, and you're not going to be able to tell me whether or not I'm talking about firearms or sports nutrition. You have 400 vendors out there. You have essentially a $25 billion market of opportunity to tap into. Now, your primary objective as a business owner, regardless if you're on the manufacturing or retail or distribution side, is to grab hold of that as much of that $25 billion as you can. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, all you know is 25 billion. How much am I going to take home with me? That's your objective. And, you know, the ultimate idea is, how do I differentiate myself? What is my unique product, you know, positioning agent, essentially, to say, this is what I'm going to do different, you know, regardless if you're a retailer or a manufacturer. This is how I differentiate myself from my competitors. I take that back. It's Javi, put your pants. Okay. It's a UPO. It's a unique product offering. What differentiates you from your competitors that's going to make you more successful? And that applies on every single level of the retail chain, regardless if it's distribution, manufacturing, retail, whatever. So at the end of the day, I looked at this and I said, I want to be able to provide more rifle parts because I know I'm going to offer better service. Firearms are actually based on a demand-stricken basis, and that's it. I need a gun. I'm going to buy a gun. I don't care where from. I'm going to buy a gun. And I'm just like, why the fuck would you just buy a gun if you're just going to buy a gun? Why not buy a gun and actually get a back rub in the meantime? You know what I mean? Like, why not go buy a gun and have somebody deliver it to you next day?
So you're saying that you're giving back rubs and happy endings to all your customers, right?
Yeah, I was going to say back rubs is actually me just trying to church it up a little bit. It actually comes with a lot. The Rifle Life service guarantee comes with a lot more than just the back rub, Javi. Just if you're asking. But by the way, Javi, I don't want to be the guy that reminds you of this, but you do need to be able to actually pass a background check, and then in order to really even pass one, you do need to be registered as a U.S. citizen.
I am not, and I am do it because
aggression.
I own. I own.
Did Javi just hang up?
No, he just put the phone down.
I'm here. Oh, I don't hang up. Rifle.com.
Sí.
Ay,
Sí.
si quieres come mi culo, pendejo. Oh, this gringo can speak.
No, escúcheme. La estudia español en la escuela de 8 años. Sí.
Wow.
Eso
El
fue.
primero impacto.
Mike, it's
Ah.
pretty cool that you're saying that because, I mean, I'm going to translate everything that Mike said because he's talking BS here. So Mike left the industry, not on his own terms,
Drop the mic.
but he left the industry and he's selling rifle parts. And it is, the name of the website is, Mike?
He's selling more than rifle parts. I'm actually going to buy a full system from him very soon.
Mike, what's the name of the website?
So the website is actually rifle.life. So it's kind of confusing. The .life is actually the .com, but it's .life. So LIF.
It's a domain, Javi. It's what we call domains. And
So it's rifle.life, L-I-F-E, okay?
Sí,
And,
ponte L-I-A-F-E.
Mike, yeah. So Mike is providing good customer service. Anything that you need and want for your parts, he's going to be there for you. Any questions that you might have, Mike will be able to answer. And Nick, since you are a huge advocate of all this, what should we call it, artillery, have you purchased anything from Mike yet?
not yet, but we've been discussing it because last time we talked, he was acquiring a part that I needed, and we will be talking about that very soon. But look at that! Look at that beautiful picture of him right now. Mike, make some noise so we can get that beautiful picture of you back up online.
It looks so gay.
And there's the toilet.
You want a noise? Hey, by the way, but like
that picture is about 10 years old, by the way.
Oh, you're saying my cheekbones aren't as okay. By the way, God bless anybody who's still listening.
They're still listening and they're still watching.
By the way, there's one person who's still listening. It's my mother. And
hi, Cat.
Gat.
Yeah.
I just want to let everybody know that I was encouraged to drink alcohol while being on this podcast, and quite frankly,
absolutely,
it did you well.
100%.
It did you very well.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to be in the flesh because I respect you guys, but
yeah.
No, go ahead and flush for us because and then what? Go ahead.
You guys, okay? I appreciate you wanting to dig into my sanitary skills.
There it
and
is.
We're back. So okay. So
and the hat is on backwards. It looks like that was a very strenuous pee.
Oh, that pee was serious business, Nick.
The hat went on backwards.
Yeah. When you need to achieve maximum velocity. So Javi, I do appreciate the shameless plug. So
we're not shameless around here.
You guys are shameless. Like you guys are.
No.
So what do you think about the show so far? Honestly, since you don't leave a fucking comment.
While I
going to the end of it, so you better fucking do
so I love the show. I think this is great. I think this is a conversation that we would all actually typically have, not on a show, but just over the phone, which I think I appreciate the most. What I do appreciate the most though is that this is Supplement Insider, and frankly, we've talked more about Javi's speech impediment, my small bladder, and Nick's uncomfortably short shorts, more than just about anything that's applicable to probably why anybody's actually tuning in. But at the end of the day,
and EBITDA,
yeah, and EBITDA, right? Yeah. Let's test Gatchis and see if he knows what acronyms actually mean, but or actually stand for. But I do want to clear one thing up at the end of
God bless that shiny noggin of yours.
Oh my God, right? I've been waxing the shit out of this thing.
Look at that.
Look at that shit.
Joe Rogan, we're coming for you.
You know what's worse is you can actually see where hair used to be, right? Like it's one of those things like, hey, by the way, like the Deadlands.
I just think that's where you've been hitting the head too many times.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You know what that was? From a good conservative family from Colorado. That was called discipline. That was my father actually beating good common sense into me.
So Kat, don't listen to this when I say malaka pusties.
So, Mike,
Dude,
Mike, now
Fat
that you,
Gat would
Mike,
double
now
down on you, pal.
that you've been,
I know Greek too.
Mike, now that you've been on the show,
Oh my god.
honestly, I mean, this is us about to sign off pretty soon. Nick and I do a lot of plug at the end for charities and everything. Is there any charities that you want to plug in? I mean, and that's the shameless plugs that we don't consider shame. I mean, I take all the stuff that you said about me tonight,
Personally.
very non-hurtful, to be honest with you. But that's okay because I'm a better man right now than I was when I started the show.
Yeah,
Because
what,
you let me know how brown I was.
Look at that picture. Look at how brown you are.
why, I was gonna say,
I mean,
why,
I can only see your pants and your teeth.
I was gonna say, I see zipper, a belt buckle, hair, and teeth.
And
Yeah.
some hot chick next to you. That's it.
There it is, some hot chick. Okay, so Mike, in all honesty, what is it if you're donating, we talk about charities right now. If you were to talk to everybody, this audience that is broad, we have about 18,000 followers right now. Not, what would you like people to listen to, donate to, and everything? What's your charity of choice?
18,000. That's a lot of other people's mothers. Like,
Yep.
my mom is like 18,001. I was just gonna say, like, I've never had a fan before, and then I had my mother as a fan. I was like, that's when I finally gained just a little bit of confidence and finally realized
You're
I could
about
step
to have
out
a
of it.
lot more fans than that, buddy. And I'm not
Yeah.
bragging, but
No,
we have
we're not.
about 4 people that listen to the show regularly.
But yeah, absolutely. By the way, like, give me all 4 of their email addresses. I'm going to give them a coupon code. But
Done. Give it to me. I'll post it on the website.
my genuine, I will absolutely actually. So Javi, that's a it's funny, as simple as a question that should be. There is no one, and I will actually answer your question definitively, but there's no one good charity that you could donate to. So I think if anybody's listening to, of all 3 people besides, I think, Nick and Javi, and maybe that one other person that's actually listening to me, if you have an opportunity and you have I should say the good fortune to be able to donate any of your money to a charity, regardless of really where it goes. I mean, I think that says a lot about you as a person. Number one, to say you're willing to take part of what you've done and generously, grant it to somebody else who needs it genuinely. That's great. And I would appreciate, though, if they went to, good causes that people research to know that they're actually not pocketing anything. But if I had to pick any one, I won't say a single charity, but I'll say a single group. That one thing that I have become extremely, and I don't want to say it's cliche, because I don't think something like this actually becomes cliche, but if there's a group, and I won't say just one, but any group that you can think of that is affiliated with veterans, one of the biggest problems I don't think that the U.S. public genuinely understands is that there have been more veterans that have actually committed suicide than have actually been killed, that actually KIA, killed in action, in Iraq or Afghanistan individually.
Yep.
And so I don't mean to take a great fun loving podcast that these guys have welcomed me onto to make it depressing, and that's not the point. But the point is that we genuinely have problems here at home, and especially when it comes to those guys that, sure, they weren't killed in war, but at the end of the day, they were killed in war. You know what I mean? They eventually took their own life for the things that they've actually seen. And the thing that could actually save their lives, to be full on, committed society-driven and dedicated people was maybe just a little help, and all that little help might have cost was, I don't know, $50-$60. And it's pretty interesting to see that when you think that, hey, your donation does not make a big difference, trust me, in that world, it makes a huge difference. So anytime that you can get involved with veterans' mental health, I would highly recommend it. And in fact, what I'm going to do, and again, we're not a huge operation, so I don't really care. So I'll say 15% of sales. I'm going to actually give Nick a coupon code, or Javi a coupon code that they can spread out. And that coupon code, anytime you use that, you won't necessarily get a 15% discount on your order, but 15% of your order, I promise you, I will send you the receipt, will go towards a veteran mental health group. And even if you'd prefer to tell me which one to donate it to, shoot me a note and I will do that for you, because God knows we appreciate that wholeheartedly. It's a huge deal to us.
I love it.
We talk about that every night, brother.
It's a big thing that I think people should talk more about. But it's
and you know what, Mike? It's funny because you talk about the veterans and talking, and Nick and I, we have our favorite foundations, and this is a part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, that we actually start signing off. But we talk about charity. Nick, of course, you go next, but because Mike brought that up, very important that we talk about this. Like, you don't have to be a veteran to go through the stuff that Mike was talking about. You know, if you're struggling right now and you're having those second thoughts about what life is about, or you're depressed and you're thinking suicide or whatever it is, please reach out to us. It's very important that we communicate. It's been a lot of fun, and Mike, you can agree to it. It's been a lot of fun and everything, but one thing that we do in this show is that we want to inspire people, and we want to talk to people, and we want to talk to them about what life is about in this industry, but also in other industries, right? Like, when you left our industry and you went to a different industry, that doesn't mean that makes you any less than us. It makes me realize that there's so much about life than our industry, right? And it's very important that people that are suffering right now, people that need someone to talk to, we're here for you. And that's big. I lost two very, very good friends last year over suicide. And I blame myself, until Nick and I talk about it, I blame myself for that, just because I felt that I should have talked a little bit more to that, right? And the thing is, you can never blame yourself for stuff like that. You do your job, you listen to people, and it's up to them to open up to you. So what Mike is saying is, look, if you're going through hard times right now, and you've been in Iraq before, you've been in the service, or you've been anywhere, it doesn't matter where you were deployed to, come talk to us. And if you want to keep it private, Nick and I, we have our different sources. If we're not the right people to talk to you, just find someone. You got to find someone to talk about.
We can put you in contact with the right people, because we've done it before.
Yeah. And listen, and this is coming. Nick and I, my co-host Nick LeCarry, he's in North Carolina right now. I'm in Florida right now. Mike, you're in Colorado right now, and we all go through issues. We all have, and we're having a good time and everything. But we all go through a lot of personal things, and Nick and I talk a lot about it. I mean, more than we talk to even our significant others sometimes. And it's very important that you let those feelings out, because they consume you. They get to you, and you just don't know what to do with them. We're here for you. So just know that, this show is not all about having fun, drinking some brews, and, having cigars. It's all about speaking about yourself. It's an open platform. So make sure that you take this opportunity to open up. And Mike, I mean, from my heart to Nick's heart to your heart, man, we appreciate you, bro. This has been absolutely awesome. My charities are, pretty simple. Joe DiMaggio's foundation, which is Children's Hospital down here in Hollywood, Florida. It is an amazing, amazing foundation. They help kids from newborns all the way to teenagers and sometimes above that. So if you're ever in Florida, please come down. We'll visit together. Anybody who's listening and watching, please come on down. Also, make sure that you guys donate or find your foundation for any cancer. I lost, my last uncle. I lost my last three uncles left in the past 5 years over colon cancer. So if you are diagnosed with cancer or you have anybody who's being diagnosed with cancer, you lost someone, please make sure that you donate to that foundation. And last, of course, not least, make sure that whatever is it that your heart tells you to do, just do it. Okay, this is not about us. This is not about Nick and I. This is not about Mike alone. It's about all of us. So if our foundations are not of your preference, make sure that you go out and donate because we have a great living. I mean, let's be honest, we make good living, and it's okay to donate. So just give back. All Nick and I always talk about is about giving back, and that's the reason we have the show. So with that being said, I'll leave it up to my co-host, Nick Lacari. And Nick, go ahead, talk about your foundations and sign us off. And this has been an amazing, amazing podcast in my eyes. I mean, Mike keeps talking and looking at me like I'm this crazy Puerto Rican, and I am. But also, he knows how much love I have. I mean, we accomplished what we wanted to get done tonight. I'm very proud to bring him on board. So this was awesome, though. So Nick, go ahead, buddy.
I mean, so when I kill the broadcast, you guys stay on, please. But most importantly, this has been awesome. Mike, I think we could have gone for 4 hours tonight. There's so much content and substance that we talked about that we could have delved further in. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And we hope to have you back on very soon to go back into, some more substance of what we talked about, because myself have learned a lot from you, and I think that there's a lot of us still in this industry that can learn a lot from the things that you have to say. So, this has been very important to us. Before I go into my charities, if anybody wants to get in contact with Mike Gatchis, how do they do it?
It's actually pretty easy. You guys just, I'll just
Go to Tinder and say the broke guy on Colorado.
Yeah, so I have a profile on cubsandcougars.com. No, actually, my email. By the way, I want to mention the fact that I had conference calls every single week with my team. I thought it was important. Again, communication, back to kind of what Javi was saying. I thought it was important to keep my guys in the loop, just so they knew what was going on. But it was every Tuesday is when we had our weekly conference call, and I themed it 2 Scoop Tuesdays, which referred to basically pre-workout. I took 2 scoops before the pre-workout because I would always talk, ramble, and just go on further than I probably needed to. So this is my most recent 2 Scoop Tuesday on a Sunday. So I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. But just first initial, last name. So MGATCHIS@gmail. Anything Javi was talking about, anything firearm related, even if it's safety or just advice or whatever, anything supplement related, like I'd love to get in touch, man. Just let me know, and I'm more than happy to share any of my insights, so long that you're actually looking for it. So M Golf Alpha Tango Charlie Hotel India Sierra @gmail.com, and drop me a line. Love to hear from you.
And we'll post a link up on that on supplementindustryinsider.com. If you want to get in touch with Javi or I, you can do it on Twitter @Javi and Nick. You can do it on Facebook @The Supplemented Life. You can go to supplementindustryinsider.com. You can contact us at supplementindustryinsider@gmail.com. We both have separate Instagram accounts if you want to go through that way. And then my charities, just military related. Every Friday, I run a Red Friday campaign, which is Remember Everyone Deployed. We do that in partnership with the Red Circle Foundation.org. Red Circle Foundation is a QRF force, so if any money that you donate to them, it goes directly to military families in need for someone that has been killed in combat or action. It helps those families directly and immediately. There's no red tape to cut through. If you guys check them out, Brandon Webb and his entire team over there are awesome. You can donate on the charities link, or you can go to painkfitness.com and follow the link there. Also, if you ladies and gentlemen know about Benghazi, we donate to the Glenn Doherty Foundation and the Lone Survivor Foundation. Most importantly, for all you veterans out there and all you military people out there that are listening, I'm former military, so my brothers and sisters out there, if you guys have any problems or you need to get in contact with somebody, we've helped people in the past. We will continue to do it. If you guys need somebody just to talk to, we'll be here for you. The most important part is just talk to each other and keep the lines of communication open, because shit can go south really, really quickly. And if you don't have somebody on your side to talk you through it, you will not only have an action that changes your life, but also changes the life of those that love you. So before you do anything, think about it and talk to us. We will get you in the hands of the right people. Go ahead.
Before we go out of line and everything, how's the kids doing? How's everybody doing in the family? Everybody good?
Everybody's good, man. No complaints over here. About you?
Good. I'm good, and I wanted to bring that up because both of us have kids, and we have a lot of friends that have kids. And
Yep.
Mike, I know you don't have kids, but you have your beautiful dog that you post all the time.
And he's an uncle too.
Yeah, he's an uncle, and
Yeah,
it's very important to.
I want to remind everybody here that actually the reason I'm at my brother's house is because it's his son's birthday today that I cut short.
Go show us. Go bring everybody up on camera.
No. It's 10:30. I'm trying to like zoom in on the collage here of
Look at that.
of children. But oh, by the way, you know what? You guys will appreciate this just before we sign off. And this is back when Gatchis used to kill it.
Let's see.
Oh, Lord. Make some noise,
Yeah.
Mike, so you bring that up on camera.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Good luck. By the way,
Lady killer.
hey, by the way, does this? Hey, have you seen this man? Hey.
Bro, we love you, bro. I mean, Mike, I mean, Nick and I really mean this. This is amazing, at least on my side of things, man. And for all the audience, you know, we're number one on iTunes. Nick, I mean, when you sign us off, let everybody know where we at. But we're becoming more popular because we're speaking the truth. We're having fun with it, and
And we bring on
Mike.
good people like Mike.
Yep. Thank you, Mike, for coming on board, man. It's a pleasure for us to have you on board. And with that being said, man, Mike, te quiero mucho, mi hermano. Te quiero mucho.
Sí. También, way. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It's a
Nick, I love you, bro.
thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a good time. And call me back when you want to learn what's really wrong with the industry. Give me a buzz.
You'll be back on. I promise you that.
I'm your guy.
I just spit on my Mac after you said that. That's bullshit. You just did that now.
So this has been Sunday, March 26th, and Supplement Industry Insider. If you want to check us out online, Supplement Industry Insider. Check us out on iTunes, Google Play, and anywhere else that you find your favorite podcasts. Peace.